This is a regular old music stand, and this is the new Kraft Geek music stand. And if this is you, this is the guy she tells you not to worry about. Just kidding, obviously, but this thing is pretty cool. You might be thinking, Rob, what is so good about a music stand? But that's exactly what we're going to find out today. Not only that, this thing did actually win the Namm 2024 award for Best in Show, so it must be pretty good. So let's have a look at it and see what all the fuss is about. So we've all seen music stands before. We know exactly what they do. They stand and they hold music. But let's be honest, the traditional music stand that we've seen 1,000 times before, like this one, it has all the sturdiness of a cheap umbrella on a windy day. You know, they just about get the job done, right? And you got to fiddle about with all these screws here to try and get the right tension. We all know this. Whereas Kraft Geek have done a really good job of upgrading the whole experience of a music stand. And you know what? I often get requests to do demonstrations of products and things like that, and I only really pick things that I feel like would be useful for me as a musician, as a teacher, anything like that. So obviously, being a guitar teacher, I use a music stand every single day in my lessons. I obviously have to write things down and put it on a stand for a student to play. So I thought a music stand would be extremely useful, especially if it's better than a normal one. Anyway, let's have a look at this. And I must say, I like the bag, by the way. You get this cool little carry bag. So this is it. This is the Kraft Geek music stand. As you can see, it's super compact, it's super portable. All good things in my opinion, especially for the modern day musician. If you're anything like me and you travel about quite a lot and you need to sort of take loads of things to different places, portability, compactability, great. And I'm going to keep comparing it to this sort of music stand here. This has all these little bits hanging off there, which is obviously they've got a function to hold music and things like that, but they could so easily get broken or bent, not built out of the best metal and things like that. So even when you fold this up, it could still get damaged. Whereas this thing, nice and sleek, nice and tidy, very minimal risk of anything getting damaged like that. So now let's open it up and put it together. This thing is super easy to set up. Obviously we open it out like that, kind of feels like a weapon. By the way, I want to mention, this is very, very sturdy material. I even love the branding on the edge of it there, but just under that you might see we have this little lock icon there, which means we need to unscrew it. Now these three tripod style legs are loose, we can kind of bring that down and then we can lock it back in place there, super easy. I need to stop saying super, don't I? Anyway, to get the height, so much easier than the other music stand. Like I said, you had those twisty screws to try and then get the right height and everything like that, and even then, those screws aren't the strongest. To do this one, all we do is literally pull. And whatever height you want it to be at, it just stays. You don't need to set it at specific preset destinations. Literally, if I want it here, if I want it there, if I want it there, no matter where it is, it just stays. And then when you're at your desired height, we fold these down, these up, and this across like that. One thing I really like about this stand compared to the other one is those other stands, they tend to have holders at the bottom, those little flimsy stick things that hold the bottom of the page, but they very rarely have something at the top or the sides. This one has these little holders at the side here. That's what these things do. So you can actually clip in your paper like that, so it's a bit more secure in the stand. And these top pieces can adjust to wherever you want them. You can bring that down, that slides down a little bit, just depending where you want whatever you put on this to be resting, it can kind of accommodate whatever you put on it. Obviously it's 2024 now, so when people are using music stands these days, they're not just using books and paper. People might actually be putting tablets and phones and things like that on a music stand, so they kind of have to be a little bit stronger these days, and they kind of have to accommodate more things than just an A4 book or an A4 piece of paper, different shapes and sizes of whatever you put on this. You know, it's got to be prepared, you know. And it's always really satisfying to take off these little bits of plastic wrapping and things like that, and exposing underneath there's a nice frictiony grip there for whatever you put on this to have extra stability. Now I don't actually have any sheet music or any music books or anything here with me, but what I do have is my partner's accountancy textbook. Look at the absolute size of this thing. This book weighs a ton. If I put it on the Kraft Geek stand, not worried about it at all. Look at that. And obviously this is a lot thicker than your average music book with sheet music and things like that, but if it handles this, it'll handle anything. As I mentioned earlier, it's 2024, so if people are using a music stand, yes, they might use it for books or sheet music, but they might also use it for their tablets or mobile phones. And this traditional music stand like this, whilst it does the job of holding it, there's nothing really securing these, let's face it, very expensive tablets and phones in place. And I doubt that these things are really going to help it much. So Kraft Geek have clearly thought about that. You might have noticed if you've got eagle eyes, there's a little screw hole here for an attachment. That attachment being a phone holder or a tablet holder. Now I'm not entirely sure if this thing comes with the stand itself or if it's an optional extra when you purchase it. But take it from me, if you want the stand, you're going to want this as well. So obviously it extends enough to hold a smartphone, but it also, with these two little buttons on the top there's one on either side, you can extend it even further. So it can even be wide enough to hold a tablet. And then you can just screw it in place like so. There you go, that is super sturdy. I don't have to worry about that sliding out or anything like that, but I can have it that way, I can have it that way. And then just taking a phone and putting that on the top like that just feels a lot more sturdy than on that other stand. I can even swap this round and put the phone in the holder. I can put the tablet on the top. Let's give that a go. This is so useful as well for someone like me who also teaches online guitar lessons. I could use a tablet for the actual lesson itself, so I could use the camera, the app, Skype, FaceTime, whatever it is on the tablet, and I could use my phone there for swiping through any music or anything like that, whatever I need, or vice versa. I could use the phone for the lesson. I've got the tablet there for any music or any sheets that I want to look at or anything like that. There is so much that I could use this for other than just using it to rest some music on. And I'm even tempted to take this with me to a gig because I could use the tablet on this stand to have my set list on. And if that wasn't enough, there is one more cool little feature with the Kraft Geek music stand which requires this little accessory as well. And this is a light which screws on the top here. We have another little screw hole there for another attachment, and if I very easily and very quickly screw this down there, we have a light. So like I said, if you are using this for traditional sheet music sort of things, you're going to want a light. You're going to want to be able to see your music. And by the looks of things, if I take this off again very quickly, it's got a compartment there for the batteries, but it's also USB. So if I plug a USB cable in there, we have light. And I believe as well we have light to varying degrees. That was middle setting. We have off, middle setting, and even brighter there. Look how bright that is. So yeah, if you've got your music stand up with some sheet music on, you're definitely going to be able to see what you're doing there. And I've just got the other side of the USB plugged into a power brick there, but you could even plug this into your phone on the attachment if you've got a USB-C phone input, which most Samsung Android phones do these days. You can even get a little attachment for your iPhone, so you can plug USB straight into your iPhone, so your iPhone could power the light also. So there you go guys, there's the Kraft Geek music stand. I'm sure you agree, it's pretty cool. It definitely deserves the title of Best in Show at Namm. Obviously I wasn't at Namm, but it's easy to see why it won. And I love it when a company takes a simple everyday item like a music stand, just when you think they can't possibly improve a music stand, it is what it is, they come along and they improve a music stand. The thing that really impressed me, if it wasn't impressive enough as a stand alone, is the phone and tablet attachment there, but also having a light as well. That's pretty cool. So I kind of love those things. It's bringing it a little bit more up to date, adding a little bit of technology, making it a bit more user friendly for more modern musicians. And then when you're done with it, just take off your attachments if you have them, and we can fold it away very easily. And obviously put it back in the very cool Kraft Geek case. So I want to say a massive shout out and thank you to Kraft Geek for sending this across for me to check out. It's really cool, I've really enjoyed it, and this is definitely coming with me later to work, so I'm going to be using this to teach my guitar lessons. If you like the look of this and you want to pick one up, then there will be a link in the top of the description for you to go and check out, and you can even use the code GALLEY, which is my surname obviously, at the checkout for a discount. And I think I get a little bit of commission too if you buy through my link, so you get a cool music stand and it helps the channel and myself out a little bit also. And just looking at the date, it's exactly 1 week until Christmas Day, so if you're still thinking of that last minute gift idea for either yourself or a musician in your family, your friend, anything like that, can't recommend this enough. So go and check out that link if you're interested. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please do. I make lots of guitar and music related content, and hopefully I'll see you next time.